All right, welcome everybody to another edition of Gwynn and Chris Overtime on this Monday. Happy Thanksgiving week to everybody. We get underway, and we had a busy show today, just a couple of hours, but with everything going on, of course, we got the huge soccer match tonight, and we've got a big Aztec basketball game tonight against Michigan. So we didn't get into as much baseball as we normally do. Tony, the Padres, I don't want to say they're quiet right now, but kind of waiting to see where things are going to go in terms of picking up players and whether they're going to be able to add free agency. What the crazy thing is, there's news today being made by, of all teams, the Rockies, the Marlins, and the Pirates.
Wow.
The three teams who never make any news. We can get the Rockies out of the way quickly. They're
usually making news for the wrong reasons.
And they've done it again. They're bringing back a manager who lost, 119 games last year.
Do we really blame that on him?
Hey,
I don't know. Well, who would you blame it on?
I would blame it on the guy who owns the team.
I think it's true. And
who's hiring the manager, though?
But Warren Schaefer was just taking over for Bud Black, so he was an interim, and now we can really judge him, Chris.
Okay, now right.
If I were him, I'd be asking for a pause for at least another year before we started grading. If I were him, I don't know if that's going to happen.
He'll probably get fired after the first year by the grading tools.
I don't know how many people get a 122 game audition,
right?
And in those 122 games, win 32 and lose 90, and they're brought back.
I think that's a direct indictment on how ownership feels about his own kind of infrastructure at this point.
Do we think no one else wanted to take the job?
That's the other part too, because we did hear the two GMs at the time had kind of got to the front of the line and then decided, I'm a pass. And so who knows?
The funny thing to me is after they hired Paul DePodesta as the new baseball operations, I never heard a single name mentioned as somebody they even talked to about the manager job.
That's a fact.
Right? So I think you got, in a lot of ways, that's true. I don't think anybody was really into it. And so Paul DePodesta looked around and said, well, somebody has to fill out the lineup card. So might as well go with the guy who was willing to do it last year.
That's a ragtag group that they put together.
It is. Listen, I'm going to be with Scraby. I'll judge him this year. Last year, it was rough.
Yeah. All right. Rubber. So anyway, the Rockies they'll continue to be no threat at all. But Tony, Gwynn Jr., could the Pirates and the Marlins be a threat all of a sudden? I mean, we have heard rumors that the Pirates were trying to spend some money for Kyle Schwarber. Now we're hearing the Marlins might be making a pitch for Michael King.
Yeah.
So what do you think about all of this? I mean, our first thought was, no way, the Pirates aren't really doing this.
Yeah.
But maybe they are going to try. Who knows?
I still hold the right to change back to that because until they actually, do it, or we hear from a player that they were like right in the mix with whoever they ended up going with, I don't think anybody's going to believe him. So, but I will give him the benefit of the doubt, right? There are a few things that could be going on. It could be as the Athletic report kind of suggested that they don't want to get in trouble for not upholding the. I think it's supposed to be like 150% more than what you're receiving from the tax top tax guys, top tax teams. Yeah. They could be trying to avoid getting in trouble or any litigation because it seems as though when a team hasn't reached that 150%, it becomes an easier case. The onus then becomes on the club to prove why they haven't spent that money the way
what you're saying is the Pirates and the Marlins have been taking money from the rich teams on the luxury tax and not been spending it, and now it's becoming so obvious that they need to do something to try to make it less obvious.
Right. That could be one side, and that's on the union kind of raising a fit about it. The other thing could be, as you get into this collective bargaining agreement, that the teams that are paying that will say, hey, we're not giving you more. when you aren't spending what we're giving you the proper way in the first place. So that's the other thing. But here's the third part that I don't think a lot of people will associate with the Pirates, the Marlins, and what was the other team? Or was it the Pirates and the Marlins?
Pirates and the Marlins.
Yeah.
The
Pirates.
Rockies were thrown in there because of the manager.
Right, we did throw them in there. The thing that could be happening is the same thing that happened to the Padres. Remember, the Padres went out in 2020 and they brought in, I think it was 2020, they brought in Snell, or was that 21?
That was 21.
Snell, I mean, they went out and made a big splash. Think back to what was going to happen at the end of that season. I believe the collective bargaining agreement was up. And so the Padres took advantage of teams kind of sitting out, knowing that the collective bargaining agreement was coming up and not necessarily wanting to tie themselves. So now there's less of a market, and teams like, at that time, the Padres, I think there were a couple other teams that jumped out there and made some splashes. This could be what we're seeing right now from the Pirates and the Marlins. They both, in the Marlins case, remember, they improved a lot from the year before. I think they were in the 60s the year before in wins. They got up to like 75 this year. So they want to continue to possibly keep that momentum going. I'm not saying that is why they're doing it, but there is, we have seen teams like the one here in San Diego take advantage when collective bargaining agreements come up. And remember, in that 21 year, Dodgers set out, the Yankees set out. And so there were some guys to be got out there because of that. And so that could be, all three of those things are certainly plausible when it comes to these two teams. I won't believe that they're in it until we hear so.
Can I ask Chris to mute his computer, please?
Yeah.
Thank you.
You can.
I think that's what did you guys hear that too?
I didn't hear it.
There was a slight feedback.
Got you.
Okay, hold on.
This is why we're doing this on YouTube.
Why is... There we go. There we go. Okay.
Sweet.
I was going to say, Tony, the odds-on favorite of the three things you talked about, in my mind, is the fact that they're just scared that somebody's going to sue them hard enough. I just believe that's the way these organizations are. I can't imagine that all of a sudden the Pirates have decided, you know what, there's an opening for us to spend some money. I think that they feel like they have to spend some money to try and make it look good.
Certainly makes sense.
So we'll see where it goes. I mean, I think that idea makes more sense. But remember, you bring up an interesting point about the bargaining, the collective bargaining, because you're right. The Padres took full advantage of that when the Dodgers and Yankees went on the sideline.
Now, I will say this about the Padres. That was a part of that, 5-year plan they had kind of put together, like in 2021 is the year we plan to compete, right? It came a little bit earlier because of the shortened season in 2020, but that was the plan all along. So it made sense that was the year they went out and made these big splashes, trade via free agency. But it does these type of situations with the collective bargain agreement do open the door as teams sit out for teams that typically aren't in it or don't spend the money to get out and possibly get, I don't want to say bargains, but they're just not competing against as many teams. So the price probably doesn't drive up as much.
I think it's just a crazy thing. I know the Marlins had a nice little run last year. I think their manager did a good job. But, you know, the bottom line is, I mean, between the Rockies, the Pirates, and the Marlins, I mean, that is a last place team in each of those divisions, like forevermore, until something changes in baseball. And that's too bad. That's just too bad. I mean, the A's are kind of that way in the American League, and, you know, it's just to have so many franchises.
They're trying to time their arrival in Vegas for their splash. I'm almost positive of it now. Yeah,
we'll see if they're able to do something like that. Let me ask you real quick before we get to the good, bad, and ugly. What do you think about Michael King, knowing Michael King? I mean, if there's a ton of money, way more in Miami than anywhere else, would Michael King opt for the cash, do you think, and go down to a situation that is unlikely to be a contending team? Or less likely to be a contending team?
I mean, can we really truly say? I would say this. It's always intriguing for a guy, and I know Michael's, not your typical young ball player, but it's always intriguing for a situation where a team is rolling out the red carpet. They want you to be the guy. And if they're telling him also, listen, you're not the only one we want to bring in. We want to do this. We want to do that. Right. That is our plan. I can see why that's intriguing for somebody like Michael King. But on the flip side, you can also see a scenario in which he values what he's been able to do here and the chance of winning. But again, and I hate to say this, the whole kind of sell of the team probably puts whatever his thoughts are about the Padres, I'm guessing, I don't know this, in flux. You know, and when you go into these free agency spots and you're weighing that kind of thing. He's from at least East Coast. His family can maybe get there a little bit easier. I don't know how he's prioritizing any of it, but we'd be foolish to think that none of that is going to be thought of as he goes through this process.
Yeah, well, if you're out there, Michael, listen up. Listen to somebody who's been through it and is experienced. Stay where we love you, man. Stay where we love you. The money comes, the money goes. We'll give you enough money to make you happy here. I think you stay in San Diego, but we'll see what he does.
I agree. Yeah, he seems like a guy who values winning a lot. I don't know, but he does.
We don't know. And, you know, like Tony said, the Marlins could say, hey, we're going to sign Schwarber, and we're going to sign Alonso, and we're going to sign you. And, okay, now it sounds a whole lot more enticing.
I would be careful with what the Marlins tell me is their plans for the future, because it doesn't seem like they...
Hey, listen, that is... listen, Michael was no fool.
No.
I'm sure all of that, his agency, all of that is information that he's privy to, and we'll have to kind of all put it together as he weighs not only the Marlins, you know, it's going to be some contenders probably that also are going to throw some money at him. And so this is why guys push to get to this point so they could experience this part.
In the catbird seat.
Yeah.
They're sitting in the I think the catbird seat that these players should be in that are in free agency. I think we should have a sponsorship like we do for everything else. You know, like we have the Nokia Sugar Bowl. We should now have what's called the Lane Kiffin Catbird Seat.
Oh, my gosh.
Sponsored by...
Lane catching strays again.
Sponsored by Lane Kiffin, who is sitting out there, and every college team in America wants to throw $100 million at this guy. It is absolutely an incredible place to be.
You
have to shake your head.
College football has taught me one thing. It's that rich people don't know what they're doing. They just have a lot of money because they keep, Lane Kiffin has some good, cachet to his name right now. But it's like, go find someone else who's going to be your guy. Go find someone else who's going to be that next great coach. Don't just throw money at Lane Kiffin.
Shouldn't somebody, LSU is LSU. They do what they want. The governor was hilarious. He basically fired the athletic director and, said they might bring Donald Trump in to make the decision on the new coach. But all of that fun aside, didn't they learn their lesson? They just got through mortgaging their entire school and history on bringing in Brian Kelly and giving him more money than the state of Louisiana even has. Why did they do that? Because he was kind of a hot candidate at the time. And he proved to be the wrong guy. And now, not only do you owe him $500 million, but now you're suing him, he's suing you. It is a complete, utter disaster. And now you're telling me you're going to go throw $100 million more at the new it guy?
Yeah.
And try to do this again?
Tells me you learned nothing from what just happened.
Can I ask you guys a question? Just playing devil's advocate. I don't know if we're ever going to get to GBU, by the way.
We're going to have to boogie through it.
What is the alternative?
Of Lane Kiffin or
for LSU?
Of the decision to not go out and get the next it guy.
I don't know. Can't you bring in a guy that's somebody you feel like is a very good coach that is up and coming and that you want to give a couple, I don't know.
Wasn't Nick
$10
Saban
million
at Toledo
to
once?
Instead of $100 million?
But he didn't come from Toledo.
Where did
He came from LSU.
Michigan State to LSU.
Yeah.
He
and
went
then,
to
and
he was
then
Toledo,
he went from
Michigan
LSU,
State.
He went from LSU to Miami, and then Miami to Alabama, right?
Dolphins back to Alabama,
Yeah.
right.
Well, what I'm saying is-
LSU originally got him from Michigan State. I think what you're saying, Scrape, you're right. There's somebody somewhere. There's a guy
Yeah.
at James Madison right
Exactly.
now
That
who's
could be
red
the next
hot.
great one.
He might be the next great one. UCLA's talking about bringing him in. I don't know that they will. But I bet you LSU could get that guy for pennies on the dollar compared to Lane Kiffin.
What?
And you'd
I
have
guess-
somebody
I
that's
guess you
trying
have
to
ask
establish
yourself,
themselves.
Why is it that a program? This isn't UCLA of the
I
90s.
know.
Why is it that a program like UCLA is reaching up to get a guy like this from James Madison? You're telling me that LSU and the fan base that clearly has a say in all of this stuff is going to be happy with a head coach from James Madison?
I don't know that they will be,
yeah,
but they'll go to the
exactly.
games if they start winning them.
Yeah, and they'll go to the games regardless and then they can just boo him off the field.
What's the proof? I mean, Lane Kiffin is doing it right in their backyard in the SEC. Why wouldn't you go get him?
Because
It's
I
just
feel like
solely,
you
just
have
solely because you made the
you have
mistake.
this
Because
huge
you're not-
mess.
You're not paying attention, though, Tony. If you go get Lane Kiffin,
Yeah,
I mean,
you're not
what's the
paying
key-
attention.
No, of course he is. But you know, here's the thing. Lane Kiffin, I mean, you can't tell me that in 3 more years you don't think Lane Kiffin will want to take a $200 million offer at the next school who
But
throws money at
that's
him.
literally the name of the. It's not just Lane Kiffin doing that. It's literally every coach, including the coach from James Madison, when he gets his pay raise and goes to the next school. Like, that's just what this is.
I understand.
Yeah.
I have been like this in all industries in life. Whenever they hire a new guy to do like the play-by-play, it's like, okay, we have another retread. Why can't
Like,
you go get
I
someone who's worked hard?
Listen, I hope that we have Sean Lewis forever. But if he continues to coach and have the success that he has, there's no doubt that someone's going to come and call him and say, hey, a school that is a step up and maybe, football's eyes, right? That's kind of inevitable. Like, if you're good, that's what's going to happen. I mean, how often are we seeing coaches? I mean, Nick Saban may be the last one that we got that probably would have never have gone anywhere. And he also didn't need to. He was like the best school
He
ever.
was already at the top place.
Yes.
Yeah, that's as top as you go. Tony, everything you're saying is 100% true. I wish it wasn't, 100% true.
I agree.
Like maybe that's part of my argument here. I mean, honestly, there's a good chance that Ole Miss is going to be going into the college football playoff, and before they ever get to it, their coach is going to leave. That is a travesty of the sport. And that, in a lot of ways, it's not even something you can blame on Lane Kiffin. You can only...
Uh-oh. Hold on. He's still talking. He has no idea.
Chris.
This is perfect for the YouTube video. I can already imagine myself clipping this and saying Chris had no idea.
Text him.
All right, well, that's
he's
it.
just figuring it out right
That's
now.
it for the overtime episode. Obviously, we lost Chris. We're gonna have to work on this, but
was on a good roll there, too.
there
I'm sorry.
he
I wish I finished my point to absolutely nobody at all.
You
but
look
I
very
don't know how much
We're going to clip that
Yeah.
where you go out.
I was rolling.
Man, you look like
I
it.
was rolling.
I felt
I
like
was
you
rolling.
were.
All I said, I was on a heater. Basically, what I said was that there's something wrong with the sport, though. That Lane Kiffin is going to leave before he coaches a playoff game, and I don't think you can even blame Lane Kiffin for that. You have to blame the sport and the setup.
I agree.
They should. They
So.
In the same way they addressed the portal issue about having it open during the playoffs. It should be the same.
Right.
You should have to finish out the season. If it's uncomfortable, it's
Yes.
uncomfortable. You made the decision, and if you go out and you get your butt kicked, then you go out and get your butt kicked. But it does seem a little. And listen, now that I'm saying it out loud, like you've taken over as a head coach in another school, like why are those kids going to come play for you at this point? You know, so as I was saying
Yeah,
it out
because
loud,
he'll leave you
right?
again.
Like, I mean, as I was saying it out loud, it started to kind of make sense why they don't do it. Because I would you want to play for a guy that already took a job somewhere else and is leaving you?
No.
Yeah. But if they opened the window for him to move jobs after the playoff system, maybe then he could stay.
Yeah, maybe
you
shouldn't be able to finalize your deal.
What I'm saying is he could tell LSU, hey, I might be interested, but you're going to have to wait till after the season's over.
And if they really want him, which they do, they will wait.
As long as they do that for everybody, then it keeps teams from out getting a head start, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. No room for GBU, but we will figure out
Well,
a
it's
way.
a good thing that we did it on the show then, wasn't it, Scrape?
Yes, it's a great thing we did it on the show. I just knew this conversation was going to go 20 minutes long.
Indeed.
Man, the trials and tribulations of a great producer, Matt Scraby, trying to keep us all together.